Hi guys and girls on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. In this video we're going to be looking at a vintage Sharp VC6300 video recorder. Now I'm not absolutely sure, but I've got a feeling this was one of the first video recorders that Sharp actually made, probably dating I would think from about 1978, 1979ish. But before we take a look at that, let's take a look at one of the last not made by Sharp, but let's take a look at one of the last videos to be produced by Funai. Now these were absolutely dreadful, and I remember at Argos you could buy one for £39 when nobody wanted video recorders anymore, and I think Argos were just desperate to get rid of them, that they priced them so low that you buy one just because it was cheap and not because you really wanted one. So let's just take a look at the Funai first, and then we'll move on to the Sharp. So this is one of the last Funai videos. There's a simple reason why it's all stripped down and in bits, and we'll come to that in a minute. But if you look at this, it's so light and flimsy, and the reason these are absolutely dreadful and virtually not repairable is if we turn it over, the deck doesn't actually plug in. All the bits on the deck are actually soldered. If you look at the top of the motor there, there's no plugs and sockets, everything's soldered for cheapness. So you know, to remove this deck, to even clean the mode switch underneath, it's a major operation, and it didn't really warrant any repair. If you got one of these in and it wasn't, the head that was dirty, I'd just send it back unrepairable, as no longer available, or not parts no longer available, or just not repairable due to economics. But I still get a few videos in, and they're based on this, and they have a DVD player at the side, and they're still quite popular. And one of the common faults is the reservoir capacitor. It dries up and it blows the chopper transistor down there and a few other bits. Now these transistors are actually no longer available anymore, and that's the reason this video is all stripped down, because I found some on the internet, and although they look absolutely like the one in the video, I'm a bit suspect to these because they look like they've just come out of the factory. They look brand new. Now it could be that they've been in this bag for a long time, but I don't trust anything on the internet now. So what I've done, I've stripped this video down. This is actually working. So I've got these one for evaluation. I'm going to fit it in here, and I'm going to leave it running for a bit and see what happens. Make sure that them are, you know, genuine transistors. But that's the reason this is all stripped down into pieces. Now I've got a set of scales here. Let's just weigh what's left of this carcass. Right, so the weight on that is about 1.2, 1.3 kilo. Now that's without these other bits, but I mean these are paper thin bits of metal you can bend with your finger, so that's not going to weigh a lot. Now the video we're actually going to be looking at the Sharp VC6300. That weighs in at an incredible 18 kilos. It's a really heavy beast to lift. So let's just put all this lot to one side, and then we'll bring the Sharp in and take a look at that. So this is the video in question, weighing in at 18 kilos. Now I think this is an incredibly rare item, and I'll tell you what I think. Back in the late 70s, when video was gaining popularity, something like this would have been horrendously expensive, and most people wouldn't have been able to afford a video. They would have rented one. And of course, as you know, the video companies adopted the JVC route when it came down to video recorders. So it's very unlikely something like this would have been out on rent. Now I happen to know that this particular machine, the guy actually bought it outright. He's one of my YouTube video followers, and he actually gave me this because he knows I've got a soft spot for Sharp. I used to be a Sharp dealer when I owned my own shop, and before that I used to work in an electrical shop, and we used to sell Sharp there. So I've always had a soft spot for Sharp equipment. And here I've dug this out of my archives. This is the sign that used to hang up in my shop that lights up. Now it's very dirty and dusty because it's not seen the light of day for many years. Now he actually told me he bought this from TVA Wholesale in Stockport, and even at a trade price that would have been a lot of money back then. But one of the other things I think makes this quite rare is not only has it got the original dust jacket that it came with when it was new, it also has the original instruction book and the wired remote control. And that's another reason I think this is quite rare. I don't think you'll find one of these in this condition that's all complete. Now the man who brought it in to me, he said that when he put it away in the loft it actually worked. Now I would imagine it's very unlikely to work now, considering it's probably stood for the last 30 years. Almost certainly the belts would have deteriorated. And this is the sort of time Sharp were using electrically conductive glue. So we're going to make this video. I am going to plug it in. I'm going to see if I can get it to work, but whether it works or it doesn't, we're still making this video. So look, just take a look at that for an absolutely incredible piece of engineering. It is actually a bit dusty, and we seem to have dust behind the LCD display. It's a front loader with piano keys. I'll just give you a quick view of the front. It's even got the original little sticker on the front there that you were supposed to peel off. And then we'll turn it round and we'll have a quick look at the back. In fact, just as a comparison, I'll just show you that in front of the front off the modern video. So that's off the modern video that I've just been looking at the transistor for, and you can see how it's dwarfed by this huge great machine. Right, so that's the back view of the machine. That's the antenna booster block there. As you can see, no SCART. This is well before SCART. That's PL259. What they used to use on CB radios, the antenna connection. In fact, it's got two adapters in here, so at some time this has been used for either a video input or a video output on something. If we take a look there, the high serial number, so they obviously made quite a few of them. Moving over onto the top there, that is the RF modulator output, adjustable. And I've just noticed something here. There's a little door there. Let's just pull that down. Two batteries now, they have to come out because they're starting to leak. I wonder if there's a date on, I presume the clock backup batteries. I wonder if there's a date on them that'll give us some sort of clue the last time this might have been used. Right, now luckily there's very, very little damage in there from the leaking battery, because that's quite bad, but the spring's not too bad there. Now interestingly enough, these batteries have a use by date of 01/1995. So if you suppose them batteries were put in, they had a 5-year shelf life, supposing they were put in say 1990, so this is probably only about 30 odd years since it was last used, I would have thought. Anyway, let's turn it round, and I can't remember, I have repaired these in the past, but it's such a long time ago I can't remember. I have this vague memory of a record play switch on the bottom board that used to get dirty and cause no sound, but like I said, that's just a very vague memory. I don't know whether it was definitely on this machine or on some other machine, but anyway, let's see if we can get the top off and have a quick look inside. Right, that's the 7 screws out the lid, but I've just realised there's another flap there. That has to be the tuning controls, and yeah, there we go. And that'll be the AFC switch, which must be operated by that there. Right, let's get the lid off it now then. Right, we're struggling a little bit here. I can't get the lid off. It appears to be this door here that won't let the lid come up. It seems like it needs this door open so we can remove the lid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in, and there's a button here that says load. I'm wondering if we press that, if that will open this door electronically, because it's that I don't want to force it in case it breaks, but that will not come up. Actually, what we could do is could look at the instruction book. That might be a good idea. Tape remaining counter there. Right, I'll just stop the camera and have a quick look at the instruction book about this load stop button. Just check the other buttons are working. Yeah, they all seem to work. Right, back in a second. Well, actually I don't know, because it says here, turn on the unit, insert the cassette, then press the load stop key to load the cassette. So I'm going to have to power this up and just play around with it a few minutes. So here we go, it's plugged in. Switch on. Right, well that's a start. The LCD's lit up. Let's have a look on the front. We've got dew sensor, standby and operate. So let's turn it to operate. Now the light's brightened up there. The clock's still wanting setting, but the door has still not opened, and it still doesn't want to open. So I'm going to have to think about this for a minute. Right, so after a further investigation we seem to be in a bit of trouble, because it says here, press the eject key to open the cassette door, or open the door by raising it manually. Well, the eject key won't go down and the door won't open, so I would imagine it's probably belt driven. If I press fast forward, the fast forward light lit up. I can hear something turning. Stop works. Rewind, that lights that up, but the eject key will not go down, the door will not open. So I might have to have a look underneath and see if I can find any belts first. Oh, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it? I was hoping to just whip the lid off and have a look inside it. Right, okay. Right, well that's the bottom off. Now I did notice in this corner there was a single screw missing, so this could have been in for repair sometime during its life. Let's just take a quick look over here. So let's have a look. There's a screw there. There's a screw there, and if we look at the back, this appears to be hinged, so I would imagine you undo 2 screws and all this lot will hinge up. Right, so that's the screws undone, hand under there. Let's have a go. Yep, that lifts up. I'll just prop this up with a screwdriver and then we can have a close-up look. Right, let's get the camera and have a look at this. Now, interestingly enough, I see 2 switches there, so I wonder if this was the one. I was remembering where these record play switches get dirty and they cause lack of sound, but let's just have a quick look down there. That looks like it could be the raise oscillator. That looks like some sort of loading motor. So it's a long time since I did videos, especially this old anyway. But I mean, just look at the engineering on that, it's amazing. And that might be the time roller tuner board upside down, transformer there. Linear transform, linear power supply, no silly switch mode in this. Just look at that fabulous engineering. Right, so I've got to figure out, I mean it could be just something that's seized up, perhaps some hardened grease, or I'm going to have a play around with this. On the assumption it's a belt, I've got a set of belts here. But right, we'll come back to it. Right, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to put the belts on, because if you look at this, the belts are totally ruined. They've been sat in one position that long that there's a kink in that belt there. See that big kink moving up and down, and that one, which I presume is a loading belt, that's also very rubbery. So I'm going to put this new set of belts on and then power it up again. Right, so there's actually 5 belts in the kit, and I'm only seeing 3 on here, so there must be 2 belts on the top side, and there's another motor probably driving one of these flat belts on the top. So I'll put these 3 on first and then see what happens. Right, so if you look at that, the one that looks like the loading belt, that's completely round. And that's been sat in that position so long it's gone egg shaped. So yeah, definitely needs the belts. That's one of the other belts. That's actually gone square, you can see where it was sitting. So that's 3 of the new belts on. There the old 3 are took off. Everything moves now. And the loading motor's moving. So I think I'm going to screw that back down and turn it over now, and then let's try again and see what happens. Right, so here we go then. Switch on here, switch on there. Now I heard something turn. Oh, that still doesn't work. And that still won't open. So I don't know what we're going to do now. I think we're stuck, unless I turn it over and turn the motor by hand and see what happens. Right, so if I put it in fast forward, it's actually making a noise like there might be a tape in it. I wonder if that's why it won't open. Because there's tape inside. Right, with the help of a bit of light, I don't think you'll see, oh you might be able to see it, but I can see the words BASF, so there is definitely a tape stuck inside, and that'll be why this door does not open. So I would imagine it's something mechanical. Let's just hope it's not one of these 2 other belts that are in the top, because I don't know what we're going to do then if we can't get the lid off. Right, interestingly enough, while it's been on, the backlights come on now on the LCD display. Now I think I found the problem. This button is actually seized up because it doesn't want to press, but if you press it hard enough, see the door just start to open there. So we only need that to lift up by about that much and the lid should come off, but that is really, I'm really having to press down on that to make any movement. So it looks like we've got a case of hardened grease, but I should be able to remove the lid now. Now it's because it has to come over this lip here, that lid. Oh, that's it, look. Right, stop the camera and take the lid off. Right, that's better. Now we can have a look inside. Same arrangement, there appears to be a hinge there, so I think what we'll do is we'll undo these screws here, lift that board up. This cover plate here still got the original locking compound on, so that's never ever been off in its life. So I think what we'll do is we'll take that off and we'll lift this up, and then we can look in there. But yeah, there's a cassette there, look. So I'm presuming just a bit of lubrication, because as I'm pressing that it's moving slightly. I don't want to overforce it. We'll lift it all up and we'll see a bit of lubrication helps. But yeah, we're getting there. Right, so that's the mystery of the other two belts solved as well. One is for the head drum. It's driven by a separate motor rather than on later videos they had a direct drive motor. It's a brass head, as you can see. And the other belt down there is driven off a motor. This seems to be some sort of tacho to see how fast the motor's rotating, because there's only two wires, and it drives something underneath. I'm not just sure what, but I'm going to put them other two belts on now, and then we'll take it from there. Let's have a quick look at there. That's the top board hinged out. There's another board down the side there. Oh, where's the cassette lamp? Somewhere down there, under there. I think I did see it lit up though. Right, so we've got fast forward. You can see the tape moving. But when I press stop and press rewind, I can hear a motor running, but nothing's actually happening. Now that could be something else that's seized up, or it could be a problem with the tape. I would imagine it's something that's seized up. Yeah, fast forward's alright. Right, so the first thing I've noticed is the tape guide here is actually very, very stiff. You have a job to move it. So it's definitely a hardened grease problem. So what we need to do now is we need to get that back in as far as it'll go and see if we can eject this tape, because it'd be nice to get this tape out without actually damaging it, and the guide is stuck a little tiny bit forwards. Right, so that is the tape out, undamaged. You can see the cassette lamp there. I think that's the same as in a Sharp 7300. I must have about 20 or 30 of them. So the first thing to do is get some lubrication on these guides. I've noticed now the tape's out that this is actually working. You press that, the door lifts up, or like it said in the instruction book, you can lift it up and down with your finger. So it would appear that we've just got a hardened grease problem. What's worrying is right deep down there I can see two idle wheels, which I almost certainly won't have. You can see them there, just behind the cassette lamp. I almost certainly won't have them in stock. Sometimes you can rough them up with a bit of sandpaper and give them a clean. Sometimes that makes them work again. But the first thing we need to do is get that grease off. Right, so that's all the hardened grease off, where the tape guides slide up and down. So we're going to apply some more grease on here, and also in these V blocks here, so the tape guide actually sits in that block nice and secure. Otherwise we'll have tracking errors. Now for the grease I'm using Hitasol, which is the special grease made for Hitachi videos, which is nothing more than a graphite grease, what you'd use in a car CV joint. So we'll get a little bit of that in, and then we'll try the loading action. Right, so that's the Hitasol applied to the guides. Now there is a long way to go on this because we've still got a stiff mechanism, but that's my dummy cassette. What you do is you put that in, push it as far as it'll go, and then you press this button that says load, and the door should shut and it should go down. As you can see, it's dropping awfully slow, so we've still got a grease problem there. See how slowly that's closing, and then to eject the tape you press this blue one, which is still incredibly stiff. So we're a long way from actually getting this going, but we're making progress. It seems like a lot of grease has got to be removed and new lubrication applied in lots of different places. There we go, the tape's down, but now I'm going to power up, switch it on there, switch it on there. Let's have a look which the play button was. I can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. 5 across the play, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, let's watch this now. That's the guides going out. The pinch rollers come in. This guide here hasn't moved. That shouldn't be there, it should be over there, so that'd be another grease problem. So we just touch it. Oh, it's gone back to where it should do now. It sticks there, look. So that's another problem that wants addressing. But as you can see, the guides have slid now into the V blocks in the correct position. So presumably if we put a tape in now, the capstan's going around, that should play a tape now. But I'm just going to investigate this first, because we don't want that in the wrong position when we try to eject the tape and chew it all up. But it's looking good, it's playing. Let's press, there's that one stop there. See if the guides come back alright. Yeah, they're retracting. Play. See, that's moved now on its own. Let's press stop again. Yeah, so anyway, we're getting there. Right, so here's the progress so far. More white grease removed off this loading mechanism. More lubrication, and you'll see now that this lifts up and down and falls on its own weight. So if we press that there, it comes straight out, and to load it in you press it till it clicks, then you press that and it should go down. That's better, look. Straight out, straight in. So that's sorted. Now the only other problem I can see is the rewind, which will probably be an idler. So I'm going to have to figure out how you get this mechanism out now to get to the idler. But yeah, it's looking good. Oh, that should drop down on its own. Right, now this guide here that was sticking, it turns out it's actually sticking to the white grease on that face there. So we just need to clean that off and perhaps put a little bit of lubricant on that. It just sticks there. Now interesting enough, that guide's got 2 wires to it, so I can't remember now, but I would imagine that's for the digital program search system, where it looks for an empty space on the cassette for stopping. But yeah, it's definitely sticking on that surface there, rather than, see, it's quite free to move. So that's the next bit. Right, okay, so I've cleaned all the tape path now, all the guides, the capstan, the audio controller, all these bits are all nice and clean. The only thing I've left is the video head, because I've run out of lint-free cloth, so I don't want to clean that at the moment. But the mechanism's all free. So I think for now, what we're going to do, rather than make the video too long and get too involved with this, I'm just going to see if it'll play a tape. Now the reason for that is, I might look at the rewind another day, because I can't remember how this housing comes out. I've got a feeling that you just undo them 2 gold screws and another one down there and the whole lot lifts out. But because I can't remember and I can't just find the service manual, I'm not going to get involved with that in case it all falls to bits or something comes off and I don't know how to put it back together. So for now, I think we're just going to have a go at getting a picture on the screen. You see how loose this is now? That's eject, straight out. Put it in, press the load, straight down. So let's get a telly connected up to this, and we'll have a go at playing, see if we can get a signal on it now. Now the only trouble with this graphite grease is it gets absolutely everywhere, and I don't know if you can see that, but I've got it all on my new top, and I only had this for Christmas, so my wife's not going to be very pleased when I get home. But let's go and get a TV and see if we can get a picture off this now. Right, that's it. I've not put the customer's tape in, I've put one of mine. You can see that it's going round. The Vestel TV is tuning. Let's see if a picture comes up. Yeah, and it says there, channels found 1. Yeah, it's found a channel on 36, which was the video output 36 to 68, I can't remember now. But it appears to have found it anyway. Right, now I'm just trying it with this old tape, not the customer's one that was found in it, just an old one of mine. And the reason I'm using an old tape is because we don't have a rewind function. When the guides come back into here, the tape won't be wound back into the carrier, and it'll leave a loop of tape hanging out. We'll probably end up ruining this. But that's just an old tape, so I'm not bothered about that. At least we can try the play on it. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 buttons along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Location, luxurious accommodation, and something for everyone in the way of leisure activities. It's entirely new. It's entirely fresh. It's entirely different, and it can be entirely yours.
Right, turn the volume down the TV, that's better. Right, look at that. Now, I did have a slight tracking error when it first came on because this guide wasn't properly located in the V block, so I might need to give that a little bit more of a clean. So you can see the tracking error there if I move it. But anyway, we've got sound, we've got picture, it looks absolutely fine, that. So it looks like there's only the rewind problem to sort out next. Very, very pleasing result, that. Now let's just stop this and 1, 2, 3, it's number 3, 1, 2, 3. You should see that when the guys come back the tape isn't wound in. No, it's left a loop of tape out there, look. So what we'll have to do now is fast forward it to get that tape back in. There we go, that's the tape back in. So actually I've done it without damaging the tape. Let's try play again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see it load up. Tracking control underneath there.
All this action is fine, so long as you can also relax. And how better than to enjoy your food?
Yeah, it's still not quite located in that V block. If I just touch it with my finger. Well, anyway, that's not a problem. That'll be probably just a little bit more grease that wants getting out. But yeah, what a result. So let's eject it now. So is that a stop? And then fast forward to get that tape back in. There we go. And then Was it that one to eject it? I can't remember. Yeah, what a result on that. Alright guys and girls on YouTube, many thanks for watching my video, and hopefully I'll make a part 2 when I get this cassette mechanism out, and we'll have a look why it's not rewinding. Alright guys and girls, many thanks. I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.